And hello, BNJ high school students. This is number 7, so let's continue with it. Miss Roberta, I'm Tim Lewis. Nice to meet you, Tim. Have a seat, please. Can you tell me a little about yourself? Sure. I'm a sophomore, and I live off campus. Off campus? Okay. Then what's your major? I'm majoring in biology. Fine. What about work experience? Here on campus, I worked last year in the cafeteria. We need a person who can work 4 afternoons a week, a total of 16 hours. Would that suit you? Perfectly. So, what kind of conversation is this? This is an interview. And who is the interview between? The interview is between Miss Roberta and Tim Lewis. So Tim Lewis is interviewing for a job. And let's look at this question. Would that suit you? Repeat after me. Would that suit you? Suit means something that is appropriate for you, or do you agree with it? Does that work for you? Are you okay with that? All right, good job. So let's go on to number 8. What are you going to do after you graduate? I'd like to go to graduate school. What would you study? I'd really like to study ecology, environmental studies. That sounds great. I think that would be really interesting. So what about you? What do you want to do after you graduate? My dad wants me to look for a job near home, but do you really want to do that? Not really. What I'd most like to do is volunteer work overseas. Wow, that would be exciting and really satisfying. Yeah, I think so too. Maybe in India or Nepal. Anyway, it's a nice dream to help others. So, what is this conversation about? This conversation is about what two people would like to do after they graduate. So, what does the man want to do after he graduates? He would like to go to graduate school. And what would he like to study? He would like to study ecology, which is also known as environmental science, environmental studies. So, and what does the girl want to do after she graduates? She would like to do volunteer work overseas. Volunteer work overseas. What does overseas mean? Overseas means abroad. Abroad or in another country. But what is her problem? What issue does she have? Her dad wants her to look for a job near home. Well, that's too bad. But hopefully she gets to do what she wants to do. All right, and number 9. So listen carefully. I will read it and listen carefully. Okay, and be prepared to answer some questions. Recently, there have been official reports of SARS cases in some Asian cities. So you are reminded to practice good personal hygiene. Hand washing is the single most important procedure for preventing infections. Travelers are recommended to wash hands regularly and for at least 20 seconds with warm water and soap. If you visited some of these Asian cities during your travels, you should not fail to check your health for 10 days after your arrival in Korea. So, what is this announcement for? This announcement is for SARS, telling travelers to be careful about SARS, which is a virus. a respiratory virus. So, what does the announcement remind travelers to do? What does the announcement recommend travelers do? The announcement recommends that travelers wash hands regularly and for at least 20 seconds with warm water and soap. And where have there been official reports of SARS cases? In some Asian cities. In some Asian cities. Good job. So let's continue on to number 10. Excuse me, are you Frank Scott? Yeah, that's me. Peggy? Peggy Norris? From Oak Hill High School? That's me. I can't believe you remember me. The last time I saw you, you were going to live in Hawaii. Oh yeah, I wanted to learn how to surf. But I never went to Hawaii. I didn't have enough money. Why didn't you get a job? You know me, Peggy. I never liked to work very hard. That's for sure, but I heard you worked as a waiter at a restaurant for a while. Yeah, I only worked until I had enough money to travel. I wanted to go to Africa. Didn't you always want to write a book about your travels? Yeah, I went to Africa, but I never wrote the book. So, how do Peggy and Frank know each other? They know each other from Oak Hill High School. They went to school together. And did Frank go to Hawaii? No, he didn't go to Hawaii. He didn't go to Hawaii. He never went to Hawaii. And why not? Because he didn't have enough money. But where did Frank travel to? Where did Frank travel to? He traveled to Africa. He traveled to Africa. Okay, and number 11. Jane, what are you going... Sorry, let's start that again. Jane, what are you doing? I'll say this one really quickly for you. Jane, what are you doing? I'm going to my friend's birthday party, but I don't know what to wear. What's the problem? It's just a birthday party. Put on blue jeans. It looks good and it's comfortable. Dad, you don't understand what girls want. Girls always want to look attractive. How about a short skirt? Well, I think a long skirt would be better. How about that one? You'll look attractive and graceful. I don't think so. A long skirt might make me look older than I am. Well, all right, if you insist. Which would be better, the checkered one or the dotted one? The checkered one may make you look more slim. Really? Then I'll put on the checkered one. So, what do they describe? What does the daughter and the father describe in the dialogue? They describe what Jane should wear to a party. What Jane should wear. So, what kinds of skirts do they talk about? A long skirt and a short skirt. And what about the short skirts? How do they describe the short skirts? The checkered one and the dotted one. And which skirt does she decide to put on? She decides to put on the checkered one. Good job. Okay, let's keep going with number 12. So, what do you want to do on Saturday? Well, there's an exhibit of antique cars at City Park. Do you want to go, Ben? Antique cars? Come on, Jenny. Who wants to look at a lot of old cars? Okay, okay, then let's go to the beach. I think Cindy and John are going to be there. Oh no, sorry, but I think John is so boring. Anyway, there's a baseball game on Saturday. It's the biggest game of the year. Oh, really? I'd like to go to the game, too. It'll be very exciting. Okay, let's go to the baseball game on Saturday. Great. So, what is this conversation about? This conversation is about what two people want to do on Saturday. Ben and Jenny. And do they decide to go to the exhibit of antique cars? Or the car show? No! Because Ben doesn't want to look at old cars. So, do they decide to go to the beach? No, they do not decide to go to the beach. Why not? Because Ben thinks John is so boring. So where do they decide to go? They decide to go to the baseball game on Saturday. So they finally make a decision. All right, and we'll continue with number 13 in the next video. So see you then. Goodbye.